I'm Professor Fiona Poland, and I'm one of the PIs for the project. I'm a social scientist, and we also have Bridget Penhale, who is, for these purposes, I'm social researcher. Yeah. And also Anne Killett, who has done quite a bit of work as well in the particular participatory research with older people. And so we're very interested in the interactive and implementation side of innovations for supporting people with long-term conditions, and so we're very pleased to be able to take on the commission from the EAHSN to evaluate three different but all technologically innovative projects across the region, and to learn the lessons that we can. So we're pleased that Stephanie and Matthew were able to join us as the team to carry out the research and to find out what those lessons might be.
Anyway, so we've got the 3 Eastern region test sites that we've been evaluating over this last 6 months. Firstly, each project's been given £20,000 in May this year for the pilot projects, but they've only got a year in which to do this, and the overall aim is to reduce emergency hospital admissions. So first of all is Norfolk. Yeah, there we are. Further funding is required to develop mobile applications to monitor the health of older people in care home settings. And the team in Norfolk were looking at social impact bonds to see if they could gather more funding from financial institutions and businesses to actually help to fund this. Cambridgeshire is, well, I don't need to tell you, do I? What do I need to tell you? Yeah, I'll tell you, okay. I can't find it, where is it? There's lots of different apps. Was it 4 different apps, Thelma? One is the Neuro at Home rehabilitation app, which is being developed in Spain, I believe, isn't it? And that is to help people at home to rehabilitate after stroke. A really good theme. It's similar to Wi-Fi, and it's got different levels, so people can work through the levels as they're becoming better, as we're recovering. Another one is app therapy, which is the speech and language therapy, again to try and get more people rehabilitated without more therapy time. There's also the QR codes, which are there for people to scan to then access videos and little therapy type demonstrations on mindfulness and that sort of thing. And then, what else? There's another one, isn't there? Magic Plan, which we had a lovely demonstration, and it helps occupational therapists, and it would help a lot of people to go into a person's home and be able to draw what adaptations are needed in that home for that person, and it allows the person to see what is actually going on. So it saves an awful lot of time for the therapist, and it's very beneficial for the patient to be able to see. So it's a really good idea. And that's actually up and working, isn't it? Yeah, we're doing that now. The Hearts one is really telemedicine. It's providing people with conditions like COPD to be able to monitor their own health at home. So they're having spirometers and something else, so they can test these themselves at home every day, and then they send the details into the clinics, and then the clinics can monitor to make sure that they're still within the normal boundaries. If things start to look a bit funny, then the people in the clinics can contact the patients and discuss with them what they might want to do or how to best to progress from there. So it's, again, stopping those people getting into a critical situation and having to go into hospital. So all good ones. And the key questions for our evaluation are: what are the outcomes being prioritised and measured? How robustly are the test beds measuring their own progress? How can test beds actively and continuously learn from reviewing their technology transfer activities? Now obviously all the projects are in early stages, so we've been focusing really on the process that the projects have been going through because of the limited data on outcomes. Well, none of you have got any of it at the moment, so we can't do that anyway. The overall challenge is engagement with stakeholders. All the projects have had a problem there. The NHS systems, how they collect data, the acquisitions, how they procure equipment, and actually the management systems as well, and the governance, how that is managed throughout the NHS is also a problem. Time issues for clinicians, obviously, they're struggling, they've got their own clinics to run, and then they're expected to do this on top. Slow recruitment and equipment supplies, which has held up all the studies in some way. And lack of support from IT, which is a real bugbear if you've got to do everything else as well. Overall facilitators, there are some. Engagement with stakeholders. Every group has been very praising of that and said how good stakeholder involvement has been. Having dedicated and admins and IT support has been very helpful for some of the groups. Clear communication between all the groups is very handy. That's a good one. And regular meetings, obviously, to make sure everybody's up to date and has a chance to discuss the ideas. Then the conclusions really is that all the projects have experienced or anticipated delays. Stakeholders can either inhibit or facilitate testbed success. Good communication and regular team meetings are key to progress. Uncertainty about governance and adequate baseline data is a problem for all projects, I think, really. It's early days yet.
In terms of access, if you like, I think, as you move along that spectrum, realising, understanding that for certain groups to have access, that they then need perhaps other support, this interdependence, so in fact one could still manage to ensure that the vulnerable or frail or more people living with more impairments are able to nonetheless have access to some of those benefits, but providing other kinds of support are in place. But then those need to be, as you say, very firmly in place so that they can be facilitated or enabled to have what a single, more independent user might be able to manage by themselves. So there's the recognising that not everybody works as an individual, that some people work within their support networks, and how does one actually manage to work with the support networks in order to still enable that person to have access to the things that other people may be able to access. And actually, I'm just a very simple example being the one about older people and online shopping, and that an awful lot of older people who still will not touch a computer will now have somebody who actually does their ordering for them online. So they are still accessing the technology, but they're doing it in pairs or groups, and they not be directly touching the technology themselves.